Ilia, stop running, Ilia. Stop running, Ilia. Good ball. I'll make it quick, no worries.
I'm the world champion. I'm never gonna give him a chance to fight
Islam on
for.
the White House card would be insane. This card would be insane. Would you want to fight at the White House, or?
Why not? I would love to fight in front of the United States of
I
America.
have to 1,000,000% agree with Khabib. I think this is our toughest test, and this is Khabib and my biggest responsibility to make sure we get Islam on top shape and ready to do what we think and we believe he will do.
Arman Tsarukyan brutally trolled Ilia Topuria after the lightweight champion declared he would never give him a title shot, despite Arman being the #1 contender.
Stop running, Ilia. Stop running, Ilia. Good ball. I'll make it quick, no worries. Good ball.
In a recent video with the Nelk Boys, Ilia Topuria firmly rejected the idea of defending his title against Arman Tsarukyan, stating that Arman needed to prove himself against another opponent first and questioning his reliability. Topuria made it clear he had no interest in ever granting Arman a title shot, even going as far as saying that if the UFC forced the matchup, he would rather relinquish his belt than go through with it.
When you put so much effort in the game and you have a guy in front who you don't know that maybe he could pull us from the fight, that's not something good for us. It's not on my back, bro. I don't care. They're gonna give him a fight before the title shot because there is no way. I'm the world champion. I'm never gonna give him a chance to fight for the title. I will be like, listen, if that's the case, take my
Ilia
belt.
Topuria even expressed his eagerness to face Islam Makhachev at the White House, showing excitement over the idea of a high-profile showdown in front of the American public. He welcomed the possibility and made it clear he's ready for the challenge if it comes his way. Ilia also shared his belief that Islam is unlikely to return to 155 pounds, pointing out that once a fighter moves up in weight, they typically don't like to move
Islam
back
on the
down.
White House card would be insane. This card would be insane. Would you want to fight at the White House, or?
Why not? I would love to fight in front of the United States of America.
Yeah.
I would
Because,
love it. We'll see what.
but it's a year away, right?
It's a year away.
That could be perfect timing for you in Islam, though. What weight would that go down at now, though?
Like, what do you mean? When?
Like
you have it?
what weight class? Yeah.
I don't care with him.
He couldn't come back down to 155.
Once you try to go up, you never want to come back.
Yeah.
It's like
Hell, right?
it's hell.
Yeah.
It's hell. I had to go through hell when I was cutting the weight at 145. And now that I decide to stay in 155, it's like two different worlds. Have been able to enjoy the whole process. I've been more happy.
However, Arman Tsarukyan stated that Ilia Topuria needs to defeat him to be considered on the same level as Islam Makhachev. He argued that Ilia has only faced easier opponents so far, and while he has beaten legitimate fighters, they were past their prime. Arman claimed that if Ilia had fought Alexander Volkanovski 4 or 5 years earlier, Volkanovski would have dominated him.
He's gonna be on the same level. He gotta beat like someone like me, you know, who can wrestle. He just had easy fights on his career, you know. He beat legit fighters, but not on their prime. If he met Volkanovski 5 years ago, 4 years ago, Volkanovski just eating.
Arman Tsarukyan fired back at Ilia Topuria, saying he would send him back to the top 15 of the pound-for-pound list. He argued that stylistically Topuria is an easier matchup than Charles Oliveira because Ilia poses no real threat on the ground. Arman explained that while Oliveira can still catch opponents in submissions even off his back, Topuria simply tries to stand up, making him easier to control. He added that, although Ilia might be a good guy, he's far from being the best fighter. Arman said, "I'll send Topuria back to the top 15 pound-for-pound. For me it's easier to fight Topuria than Oliveira because of my style. I like to take people down. When you take down a fighter like Charles, he can still choke you or catch you in a submission. But Topuria, he's just going to try to get up, and you can take him down 1,000 times. There's no danger on the ground. Maybe he's a good guy, but he's not the best fighter."
A rematch or taking a match or taking on Ilia. Which one is more exciting for you?
For me, more exciting is Islam, because when you beat Islam, it's a different level fighter. He's a complete fighter. He's not just Ilia who can just box and defend the wrestling a little bit. But Islam, he's a complete fighter.
On the other hand, Khabib Nurmagomedov called Jack Della Maddalena the toughest opponent of Islam Makhachev's career, stating that Maddalena is bigger and stronger than Ilia Topuria, possesses elite boxing, solid grappling, and presents a far greater challenge than anyone Islam has faced so far.
Maddalena самый сложный соперник в Ислама карьере. Мое мнение. Ни Чарльз, ни кто. Ни один из этих бойцов.
И даже Илья,
меня,
если бы это бой был.
Ну, мое личное мнение, во-первых, Maddalena 2 раза больше, чем Илья.
Спасаем.
Илья. Он 2 раза больше. Он выше, больше, ноги помощнее, корпус, бокс не хуже. И грэпплинг он возится очень хорошо, если вы смотрели. Для меня, если я буду, например, буду готовить Ислама против Илья или с Maddalenой, для меня больше будет волновать.
Javier Mendez strongly agreed with Khabib Nurmagomedov's assessment that Jack Della Maddalena is the toughest opponent of Islam Makhachev's career. He emphasized that this is by no means an easy fight and described it as one of the biggest responsibilities he and Khabib have ever faced as coaches. Mendez stated that if the fight appears easy, it would only be because they prepared flawlessly and Jack gave them the right openings during the bout. He expressed deep respect for Jack and his team, and if it made it clear they are mentally ready for the challenge
I believe
ahead.
Khabib recently said that's Islam's toughest test. Do you agree?
I'm going to have to 1,000,000% agree with Khabib. I think this is our toughest test, and this is Khabib, and my biggest responsibility is to make sure we get Islam on top shape and ready to do what we think and believe he will do, and that's win. But it's not going to be easy. And if we make it look easy, it's because we were properly prepared, and Jack just happened to give us what we needed. But this is by no means a walkover fight. No means. This is a really, really tough fight. And we have immense respect for Jack and their team and what they can do. And so we're prepared, mentally now. Physically, we'll got 2 months before we start camp. We'll go then. But right now, we're mentally prepared for what Jack brings. And he brings a lot.
Javier Mendez acknowledged that Jack Della Maddalena is a very tough opponent, admitting that getting past him won't be easy and that both he and Khabib know they have their work cut out for them. He emphasized how dangerous Maddalena is and warned that if they don't approach the fight the right way, they could lose and be forced to start climbing the ladder all over
Fight
again.
JDM too, and that's not going to be. Khabib and I have our work cut out for us, and other coaches. This is not an easy task. This is a very dangerous individual, and we better come at it correctly. Otherwise, we're going to come out looking. What next? There is no next.
Javier Mendez highlighted several reasons why Jack Della Maddalena is such a dangerous opponent, pointing to his impressive winning streak and his ability to mix up attacks by targeting the body, head, and using unpredictable kicks. He emphasized that JDM isn't just a headhunter, he changes levels and strikes with creativity. Mendez also noted JDM's strong takedown defense, warning that they can't assume they'll be able to take the fight to the ground easily. Instead, they need to create their own openings, as JDM is too skilled to give any away for free.
JDM so dangerous. JDM so dangerous. What does that attribute?
I think what makes JDM so dangerous, number one, he's unbeat for quite a while.
Yeah.
He's had quite a long win streak, and the fact that this guy mixes it up extremely well. He goes to the body, to the head. He doesn't just head hunting. He mixes that all up. He goes body, punch, boom, and then all of a sudden a kick comes. And with him, his takedown defense is really, really good also. So we are not in a situation where we can think, we're going to go to the ground, or we're going to. No, we got to see what he's going to give us, and we're going to have to make him give us something, because I don't know if he's going to.
Arman Tsarukyan weighed in on the Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena matchup, calling it a tough fight. While he acknowledged Jack's sharp boxing and solid defense, he emphasized that Islam's relentless pressure and elite grappling would be the deciding factors. Arman predicted that Islam would take Jack down, control him on the ground, and potentially finish the fight with submissions or ground and pound. He stated, "It's a tough fight. Maddalena is a tough dude, good boxing, good defense, but I believe Islam has really good wrestling. He could take him down, hold him, submit him, ground and pound, However, Max Holloway cautioned fans not to underestimate Jack Della Maddalena, calling him one of the best fighters in the world. He said the matchup with Islam would be a smart but difficult fight, and compared Jack's current situation to his own early career, when many doubted him. While Holloway expressed respect for Islam's pound-for-pound ranking, he urged fans not to count Jack out. People are sleeping on Jack. I think Jack is one of the best fighters in the world right now, and people are going to find that out when the match happens. It's going to be a fun fight, a smart fight, but a lot of people are counting Jack out for no reason. It kind of reminds me of when I was coming up, and people were doubting me. Look, Islam is the number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and he's number 2 for a reason. You've got to respect that. But still, don't sleep on Jack. It's going to be a tough and fun fight. That wraps up everything from today's video. Let us know your thoughts and predictions on this matchup in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more updates on this thrilling showdown.
Van Vicker said he's going to knock him out, and I believe him. I honestly believe him, because I just think he's not going to be able to handle with him on the scrambles, or when he gets back up. He's going to, like, Della is just so stoic. And he just, like you said, focuses on his own game. And when he does that, I really think he's going to get him. And I can't wait till that happens. And wherever it is, I'm going to beat him.
Meanwhile, Israel Adesanya predicted that Jack Della Maddalena would finish Islam Makhachev, believing Islam wouldn't be able to handle Jack in the scrambles or once he got back to his feet. Adesanya expressed full confidence that Jack would get the job done and added that he couldn't wait to see it happen, promising to be there when it does.
Related for Islam, or do you feel like legacy aside, he could have just wrote out his career at 55?
The weight cut was something that he's an expert at it. I've been with him all these times. I'm not in the weight camp all the time. I'm in and out because that's not my thing. But he's never really 100% like, oh my God, I can't make the weight. No, he's never done that. So he's always been a professional. He's always made the weight. But as far as going up in weight to welterweight, it's like the legacy fight for that. So he could have stayed at 155 and continued doing that if he wanted. The opportunity came up. How can you pass him?
Yeah.
He couldn't pass that up. If Bilal Muhammad was still there, no question, he's not doing it.
Craig Jones also called it a super difficult fight for Islam Makhachev, noting that while Islam had competitive bouts with Volkanovski, Jack Della Maddalena possesses the best scrambling ability in all of MMA, which could present an even greater challenge. He highlighted the size difference and how Islam struggled on the ground with Volk, adding that if Jack puts Islam in a tough spot or beats him, it will raise serious questions. Jones said, I think it's a super difficult fight. Obviously, Islam faced Volk twice. The first was very competitive, but now he's facing a guy with the best scrambling ability in MMA. I think that's what Islam struggled with. The size difference is going to be more than people think, and we've already seen how Volk did on the ground. Ian Gary also weighed in, saying the matchup is difficult to predict. He praised Islam's all-around skills, but emphasized that size will be a crucial factor at welterweight. Gary pointed out the significant size difference between Jack Della Maddalena and Volkanovski, noting that even Volk and Dustin gave Islam trouble. He believes Jack has the boxing and takedown defense to win, though he also acknowledged the possibility that Islam could dominate. Gary said, it's tough to talk about because Islam is phenomenal, he's good everywhere, but size matters when you're talking about an extra 15 pounds. When you look at the size difference between someone like Volkanovski and Jack Della Maddalena, it's huge. Even on the ground, I feel like Jack could get it done with his clean boxing and solid takedown defense. Meanwhile, Javier Mendez clarified that Islam Makhachev never really struggled with making weight and was always professional about it. He explained that Islam handled his weight cuts well and never complained about making 155. The move to welterweight, according to Mendez, wasn't about avoiding the cut, it was about chasing legacy. He said Islam could have easily stayed at lightweight, but the opportunity for a big fight at 170 was too good to pass up. If Bilal Muhammad had still been the opponent, Islam wouldn't have taken the welterweight fight.
170 is permanent now. It's permanent now for moving forward.
No, I can't say that because I haven't spoke to Islam about that, whether he's going to want to stay at 170. I really don't know. There's a lot of opportunities at 170.
Yeah.
And let's face it, at lightweight, there's only a couple.
Yeah.
But at welterweight, there's a lot more.
Yeah.
So Islam is the driver. I'm just the mechanic. And maybe I'm the guy that fixes the tires of this one, but Islam's the driver. Islam decides where he wants to go, not the manager, not Khabib. Islam.
Javier Mendez also shared an update on what might come next after Islam Makhachev's fight with Jack Della Maddalena, stating that he's not sure whether Islam will stay at 170 permanently, as they haven't discussed it yet. He acknowledged that there are more opportunities for Islam at welterweight compared to lightweight, where only a few big fights remain. Ultimately, Javier emphasized that Islam is fully in control of his career decisions, and no one interferes with that. He described himself as just a mechanic, while Islam is the one driving the direction of his future.
I've always told everybody, we can switch him second per second, minute for minute, round for round. So whatever Khabib and I and the other coaches need to do, we will do, and Islam will follow our instructions. He always has. I mean, there's one thing I can always say about Islam is that no matter what I say, Khabib says we're on the same track, we're not on the same track, he listens to us. So It's going to be our job to make sure things aren't working. We find out what is.
Javier Mendez also praised Islam Makhachev's discipline and trust in his coaching team, saying that whether it's himself, Khabib, or any of the other coaches giving instructions, Islam always listens and follows without question. According to Javier, they can change strategies second by second or round by round, and Islam will adapt instantly. He emphasized that it's the coach's responsibility to figure out what works, and Islam will stick to the game plan no matter what.